I hope you've all been enjoying Apple's most recent software update for your iPhone, iOS 10, and all the great features it comes with. But I bet there are a few features in this video you haven't heard about. Hey guys, Rex here with iDrop News, and today we are looking at the 5 best hidden features in iOS 10. Let's get going. Do Not Disturb is a fantastic iPhone feature for nighttime, meetings, or any other time you simply don't want to be disturbed. However, there may be specific people you don't want to keep from getting in touch with you. For me, I like for my wife to be able to get in touch with me anytime, and iOS 10 has just the feature. In the Contacts app, find the contact you want to be available to anytime, click Edit, and then you can turn on what's called Emergency Bypass under ringtone and text tone if you want both calls and text messages to come through. I know quite a few people with eyesight issues who appreciate and use the iPhone's Zoom feature, which makes icons, text, and everything else larger. But what about items in the real world? In iOS 10, Apple has added a new accessibility feature called Magnifier. It allows iPhone users to use their iPhone camera to magnify an object. Why not just use the camera app, you might be thinking? Well, Magnifier allows you to zoom in substantially further than the camera app. To enable the feature, head to Settings, General, Accessibility, and then to Magnifier. Once enabled, you can activate the magnifier by triple-clicking on the Home button. Here, you can zoom in and out and even take a still image to view. There are also a few other items that allow you to adjust certain settings. And to be honest, this was one feature I was completely unaware was available on the iPhone, and I'm sure there are many people out there who would find it useful. So, the Raised Awake feature in iOS 10 is a great way to get a quick peek at your notifications and other information, but it does raise a privacy issue. The feature allows for a lot of activity without your iPhone ever being unlocked. For example, by default, someone could lift up your iPhone, see a message, and reply to it all without unlocking your phone. If you're worried about privacy and someone being able just to pick up your phone and see what you've got going on, or worse, take action on a notification, fortunately you can do something about it. In iOS 10, you can control what information shows up on the lock screen when Raised Awake is activated. Just head over to Settings, Touch ID and Passcode, and scroll down until you see the Allow Access When Locked section. Here you can toggle on and off features like Today View, Siri, and Reply with Message, among others. Now keep in mind, none of these toggles will prevent your messages or emails from showing up on your lock screen. If you prefer that your messages or other similar notifications not show up at all on the lock screen, you can disable those notifications by going to Settings, Notifications, and then selecting the app you want to cut off. For example, here I can select the Messages app and then granularly control how I want notifications to behave for text messages. Now, going back to Raised Awake, if you prefer to turn off the feature altogether, you can do that too. Simply go to Settings, Display and Brightness, and scroll down until you see the Raised Awake option, and here you can toggle it on and off. When Apple introduced live photos along with the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, they never really caught on. Honestly, I stopped shooting live photos after a few weeks. However, Apple has significantly improved live photos on iOS 10, and if you abandon the feature, it may be worth a second look. The biggest change is the ability to edit live photos. When they were released, even the smallest edit to a live photo would cause the live photo to be converted into a still image. This was very frustrating, especially since editing, or at least adding a filter to photos on the iPhone, is such a popular activity. Now you can go crazy editing a live photo and it will remain a live photo. Another long-time knock against live photos that Apple has continued to improve is stability. When live photos was released, there was no stabilization, and unless you were extremely still throughout the duration of shooting a live photo, the result was a shaky mess. In iOS 10, stabilization continues to be improved, and live photos look better than ever. It's an easy feature to miss, but 3D Touch is more prevalent than ever in iOS 10. Apple is certainly determined to stick with this feature that most people have seemed to forget about. Part of the slow adoption issue with 3D Touch is it's hard to know where you can use it. After all, it's hidden behind the normal user interface. But in iOS 10, 3D Touch is everywhere. But rather than leave you poking around your iPhone to see where the feature is available, let's look at some handy places you can now use 3D Touch. On the lock screen, 3D Touch can be used to interact with notifications. For many apps like Messages, a deep press will allow you to reply to a message without leaving the lock screen. Like in prior versions of iOS, deep pressing on an app icon on the home screen brings up quick actions. However, in iOS 10, apps can now add a widget, making them much more useful. Most of Apple's default apps now have a widget available, and many third-party apps have adopted the feature as well. For instance, the Weather app provides a small glance at the weather, Apple Maps suggests your next destination, and Todoist, a third-party app that I use, shows me upcoming tasks. Over time, 3D Touch has been added inside many apps as well, allowing you to peek at content. Hopefully these 3D Touch tips help, but it's worth exploring to see where else you can use the feature. Alright, I've also got a quick bonus tip for you guys. In iOS 10, you can now alter the brightness of the flashlight in Control Center by using a deep press on the icon. Here you can choose between bright light, medium light, and low light. This is pretty handy at night when the brightest setting can sometimes be blinding. Alright guys, well that does it for this one. Now as always, keep it locked right here to iDrop News for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.